Hi there, welcome to the Call to Cinema, and I am Aaron. Because I want to get out of the way before the video ends, like, share, subscribe, and if you want follow me and you, for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me on Patreon. And tonight we are talking today about, well, you know what we're talking about? We're doing a Blu-ray report card for 2019. This is my first year doing this. I wanted to basically look at all the companies, look at their major releases, some of their major announcements, any changes that they might have made within their company, any kind of like bumps and hills. Hey, Wheels, hey, JB, and we are talking about the companies this year, all the companies. Well, we're going to do some of them today, and we'll do some of them in a video next week. But this is a report card of all the companies. Logan, welcome, dude. I think you're going to like this one, Logan. This is my first time doing this one. We're going to look at all the companies, everything that they put out, the announcement they made, the changes that they made within their company, and we're going to kind of give them like a report. I'm going to give them a grade. We're going to do a report card for all the companies. So companies that we're going to be looking at over the next few days, just so you know, I'm going to open it up here. See, well, we'll get there. We will also look at the Vinegar Syndrome limited editions list and see exactly how low some of those have gone. A big shout out to Shadow, who's not here right now, but he sent me a message earlier, who's getting me the slipcover for the first Spookies, the limited edition slipcover for #1, and the slipcover for Christmas Evil. So thank you, Shadow. By the way, when you see this video, I really do appreciate that, and because of that, my better half actually said that tomorrow, before the sale is over, hopefully we should be able to go in and pick up Spookies, and then when Shadow sends me the slipcover, I'll have the preferred slipcover for it. All right, so companies that we are going to be looking at over the next 2 days. I got to remember that. Okay, hold on a second. Can anybody add that? Because if they can, I'm totally doing that. Okay, can you say that again? Because I want to spell that right. So GEPETTO, or is that 2 P's? GEPP. Okay. Thank you. You must have let my puppet come, right? So companies we're going to be looking at over the next few days are Severin, Arrow, Criterion, Blue Underground, Code Red, Synapse, Kino, MVD Rewind. I don't have the 4th set yet. I have it coming, but I won't see it till after till the 18th, when Christmas comes. That's when I get to open up my presents. And the 4th set of Hammer is one of my presents. MVD Rewind, Scorpion Releasing, Second Sight, Indicator, AGFA. We're going to look at a lot of the companies, but we're going to start with some of the major companies. Wheels might have it. So what I did was I wrote down what I considered the major releases. Nice. Did you order the Angel set? Because it's a pretty sexy set, pretty awesome set. So I guess first what I should do before I go any further is I'll let you all know where everything is on the Vinegar Syndrome list, and then we'll go into the yeah, that's the hard part, man, because I wrote down where it was at the time. Hey, Amy, welcome. So the big ones right now that are going down, Tammy and the T-Rex, the last time I looked at it, the 4K was already down to 237. Tammy and the T-Rex Blu-ray was down to 197 the last time I checked. I've only mentioned ones that are under 500, by the way. Pledge Night is down to 292. Hell Comes a Frogtown is at 343. Putney Swoop actually surprised me. It's gone down to 85 last time I checked. Savage Harbor VSA get the VSAs, guys, has gotten into 429. Flesh Pot on 42nd Street is down to 474. In the Cold of the Night, Shannon Tweed is down to 282. Good going, guys. Dominique is down to 450. That's a really good Southern Gothic film. Wacko is down to 428. I'm actually surprised about that, but it has a cool cover. Splatter University is down to 191. I do recommend that one. Beware My Brethren is down to 276. The Last Time I Looked at Killing Con, which is an excellent, excellent film with Ann Southern, is down to 65. Death by Temptation is down to 116. Shot is down to 358. Five Films, 5 Years is down to 203. That's the 4th volume and the only volume that is left in print. Penitentiary 2 is down to 172. Blood Mania Point of Terror. Thank you guys whoever picked up that. Pete Carpenter Rocks is down to 90. Pigs is down to 359. Demonoid is down to 438. Catch My Soul is down to 182. And Raw Force is down to 250. So you made the right decision, Logan. But what I wanted to do tonight is look at some of the companies, look over what they've done this year, and kind of give a grade, kind of give my thoughts on them. So I guess the best place to start is, because I did the Vinegar Syndrome limited edition numbers, is the talk about Vinegar Syndrome and what they've done this year. This has been a big kind of like changing year for Vinegar Syndrome as a company as a whole. They've taken a few really big steps forward that I really have to applaud them for. For the first year ever, we got to see Vinegar Syndrome put out box sets. And not just any box sets, but box sets that were utterly glorious. From the Anvil Curse Collection to the upcoming Angel set to announcing 3 box sets coming up from next year that I think have about every horror collector extremely excited. We're talking Spanish horror. Hey, Fries, welcome. Welcome to the cult, man. And like Euro Giallo. Or so, extremely cool there. Not only did they do that, but they also, during this sale, they snuck in some extra merch stuff, going much of the way of like Severin and putting out some enamel pins. There's enamel pins for Tammy the T-Rex, and there's an enamel pin set for Spookies as well. Very cool. I got to give them credit for that. I still think, I haven't seen their enamel pins yet. Severin's still been the king of the enamel pins so far, but let's see how they do as it goes on. They also announced their VSA, their Vinegar Syndrome's archive line. And they started it with 2 films, with Evil Town and Savage Harbor. 2 films that people were kind of like baffled by at first. But I found that a lot of people, since they've seen them. Oh, have a great night, Adrian. It's basically, I've been like really impressed with. From like the hard cases that are meant to look like the VHS slips, to the fact that they're dual covers, and we get the large 22 by 16 poster as well with the VSAs. Again, aside from that, they also decided to do slip covers for some of their older releases. The best one so far that I've seen looks to be Christmas Evil. I know some people were iffy on it. I actually really like the Christmas Evil slipcover. And it's one that really stood out for me. And it was a way for people that hadn't looked at their back catalog to actually get excited about films that they may have passed on, because you'll notice even during these sales, unless it's written limited edition, and even when it is written limited edition, a lot of people look at just the newer stuff and they don't go back and dive into the back catalog. So it's a really smart idea for Vinegar Syndrome to look at some of their older films that they think deserve a second look, or that people haven't picked up yet, to put out some slipcovers to actually make them, actually get people to collect those as well. Let me know what you think of it, Amy. I'll be interested to know. Aside from that, they went like headfirst into the, I still use Groovy, man. Into like a 4K world, with their first 4K being Tammy the T-Rex, with more 4Ks being announced next year. Officially, I guess, as a company, Kino Lorber kind of beat them to the punch, but as an actual, basically a genre company that's selling this type of niche cinema, the fact that they're the first ones to go 4K over Arrow and Severin and Scream Factory screams, it's pretty awesome. Some of the bigger releases, in my opinion, that came out through this year, and I think these are all ones that came out from this year, are things like Norman J. Warren's Bloody New Year, The Uninvited, There's Nothing Out There. I think that's an amazing release. Splatter University, Party Line, Pick that one up, guys. Dominique, In the Cold of the Night. Flesh Pot on 42nd Street is one that I think, like, if you really like cinema, that's one that you should own. The Spookies looks to be, I haven't watched it yet, so don't give me any spoilers. Looks to be incredible. And of course, they put out their October package was amazing with end of a Curse collection, Berserker, Unmasked Part 25, Beyond the Door 3, and of course their Angel trilogy, which is one of my must-haves of this year. For some people, the Godzilla collection from Criterion was their their kind of their movie thing of the year. For me, it's the Angel trilogy, and that's, hey Alan, welcome, man. But it's the best they've ever done, and for me, it's the best year they've ever done. They've made a lot of steps forward. Their Black Friday sale went off effortlessly and pleased a lot of people with their, not just with their surprises, but by the ease that that you had for getting stuff on Black Friday. It was very simple. There was no hiccups with Vinegar Syndrome when you went to their Black Friday site. You were able to get what you wanted to get. Only problem is if you didn't get there early enough to get like the Jack Frost or something like that. Though they didn't have very many of those, so those were going to go first. That being said, I got to give an A++ to Vinegar Syndrome for this year. They did incredible stuff, and it's, for me, like, spoiler alert, I'm eventually going to be ranking the companies, but they look to be going for Company of the Year for 2019. And before I go any further with that, what's your thoughts? JB agrees with me with that Vinegar Syndrome's at the top heap. Would you agree that Vinegar Syndrome's at the top heap, that they made enough like big changes this year that well, still sticking with their base? Because for me, they widened it. Like, they widened what they did. Vinegar Syndrome was a smaller niche company that has slowly been gaining a fan base and branching out. Yeah, the Omen set does. Actually, you can see it in the background there. They have features for Omen 3 and 4. Anything that was on the DVD set should be on the Blu-ray set as well. I have the DVD set. But yeah, an A++ for Vinegar Syndrome. Now, let's get to company number 2. And I talked to... Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, aside from... Now, they released some films that I might have expected to come out from Vinegar Syndrome. And that is, like, after Vice Squad came out, the Angel series seemed to be kind of like an obvious way that Vinegar Syndrome would go. But I'm really glad that that Scream Factory would go. I'm really glad that Vinegar Syndrome actually got the rights to the Angel trilogy, because I think they're going to do a better job with them than was done. Like, say, look at the Poison Ivy collection for that example. If you want to see what Scream Factory puts into some of the releases when they're not as kind of marquee. All right, Severin's next. Severin started out like this Black Friday with a bit of a bump. They're still working out their server issues within Severin, but they will get there. And that being said, Severin did put on a great Black Friday sale. There's like the Blood on Satan's Claw and the Beast in the Cellar, the Tygon films that are there. The Severin started the new kids label, which I think is going to do really well, and the choices that they've had for the kids label thus far look to be genius. Kino, I say, more than likely Kino. That seems like a Kino movie, Alan. Like, I can see Shit's like maybe, but Kino. Kind of the fun little film Gwendolyn, Pairs of Gwendolyn with Tawny Kitaen, was actually put up by them, as was Boys Next Door with Maxwell Caulfield and Charlie Sheen. Actually, it's an underrated little film if you've never seen it. Thanks. Paganini Horror was brought to North America by Severin. We got Blythe, the was it the Beast of Incest, Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory, Uncut finally, Killer Crocodile 1 and 2, The Wax Mask, which has to be one of their big ones of the year. Actually, exactly Robo War, which next one I was going to mention. And of course, Night Killer, The Uncanny, and the utterly fantastic Hemisphere Horror box set, which I showcased on here just before the sale because I heard that they were going to be putting it half off. And as was thought, they did a great job with it, and it's sold out. So the Hemisphere Horror box set, much like the Amicus box set and the Blood Island Trilogy box set before it, are all sold out now. So you're gonna have to find like in more of a scalpery type place to get that. So I can't quite give an A to Severin, although I really, really want to, because the releases they put out this year are probably the best releases that I've seen them put out throughout any previous year. And that's not even to mention some of the Lord Gemser stuff that I think came out in what they're doing. But I do have to give a strong B to Severin releasing the Severin's films, because aside from the hiccup on Black Friday and the idea of having the Tygon films only come out for over a week in release, I'm going to strongly give it a B. That's my decision on that one there. Now, we come to Scream Factory, who became a name again by letting us know that certain films that they had coming out, well, we mightn't be able to get them anymore. Scream Factory has rested on its laurels a bit when it comes to sales and stuff like that. They have they have the worst sales of any company out there, and they're the biggest of the companies. But some of the notable releases that came out in 2019 for Scream Factory, we got 10 to Midnight, exactly, with Charles Bronson film, one of my favorites. The Poison Ivy Collection, I'm glad somebody put that out. Valentine, they put out an amazing release of Valentine, which I recommend everybody pick up if you're like a slasher fan at all. Their Hammer releases that they've been putting out this year have been knocking it out of the park. I love their Hammer releases. The covers aren't quite as good as the Studio Canal release. Well, they're not as good as the Studio Canal releases. They have the slips with them. I'm hoping that the Hammer releases are going to do well for them, and that maybe they'll think about doing some slips for the Hammer releases, and maybe doing some retroactive slips in the future. I think people would buy that, and because things like Scars of Dracula, which is a really good release from Scream Factory, it's a pretty atrocious cover, much in the way Vinegar Syndrome's like Christmas Evil cover used to be. Oh yeah, Cobras was a good release there as well. The Blob, of course, as you just mentioned, the Fly collection looks amazing. The Omen set is one that one of the ones that I say everybody has to have in their collection. Road Games is a great release. The Manitou is an insane release, but I do think everybody needs to have it. The Seduction is one that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, but I do recommend you pick it up. It's actually a really good film. Actually, I love the whole April Fool's Day cover. I got to go to bat for that one. If you've seen April Fool's Day is one of my favorite films, and the Barbie cover, like the doll cover, that suits the film. I'm on board with that one. We also did the incredibly well done Universal Horror Collections. Creepshow came out last year, or I would have put it on the list. I'm pretty sure it did. I could be wrong though. Welcome, Colt. Critters Collection was last year too, but so I'm going to go with 2019 releases when I'm doing their stuff. Of course, Vice Squad, which is an amazing release. If you miss it on Vice Squad, there is like hours upon hours of interviews and such within that set, and it is incredible. It looks like just a regular release, but when you get it, there's so much down there. Dracula. I haven't done my my rating for Scream Factory yet. Dracula, again, they brought out the recolorized one, but they gave us the original as well. So big props for doing that. And of course, Prophecies was being brought up by Scream Factory, another fantastic release. So along with that, Scream Factory managed to come out with the out of print list, the infamous out of print list. Now, as far as we know, there's 2 of them right now. and we're keeping an eye out to see if there's more out of printless coming from Scream Factory. So for Scream Factory, now I gotta give them am I gonna give them an A or a B plus? What am I gonna give them, guys? I can't go as low as a C. I know JB says a C, but I can't go as low as a C with them. They put out too many good releases this year. Though the one thing that Scream Factory still needs to work on is as far as like doing a sale and promotion, like that type of stuff. Scream Factory is still the lower one on the totem pole when it comes to that. The fact that like companies that have few workers in them and probably have this spend a lot more per release without having a bigger company to back them up. Scream Factory really needs to work on their sales. They're not good with their sales at all. They have the least anticipated sales every year. You're Jay Garrick, but I'm gonna give them a solid B plus. I want to give them an A. You Batman, but I can't. I want to give them an A because they're solid, like quality releases. Their Omen set and their Fly set would normally have me give them an A, but they took off the Black Friday week, and their sales in the last couple of years haven't exactly been stunning. So we're going to give them a B plus for Scream Factory. At one point, they did believe in sales. That's the sad part. If they never believed in sales and they never had done good sales in the past, I could understand. Like, okay, they've never done it, but when you realize that they have done this stuff, that's what makes it a little more sad. All right. Next up is a littler company, and that is MVD Rewind. A lot of people still haven't started collecting this company yet, and to shame, because they do some really great stuff, and some of their features are just insane. Yeah, but same thing with Kino the Warlock. Is you'll notice that there's certain releases, and that's because of rights issues, right? But if you start to put something in your cart, or you go there, and let me see. What if you go to the page, it'll say like U.S. Canada or Canada only, or U.S. only. No, Canada only. That's for sure. So MVD Rewind put out some decent stuff this year, more than you're probably aware of. But there's 5 releases that they put out in particular that really stood out to me. They put out the Nemesis film, the Olivier Grenier film, which is kind of a cool, cheesy, fun science fiction film. What's even cooler than that, though, is they actually went out of their way to put out Nemesis 2, 3, and 4 on its own set. I really enjoy those films, and they're cheesy science fiction. Again, and they put features and stuff on a lot of these things, like really good features. But the best features for me for the year came from their Double Dragon set. Angel Town was last year, but Angel Town is a fantastic release, Jesse. Hey, Jacob. Hey, Jesse. We're doing 2019 basically report card for some of the companies. Double Dragon included a really great making of documentary and the pilot episode of the cartoon Double Dragon, which was a must-have release, I think, for me. Double Impact, again, they put a 2-part, a double making of on there. And of course there was Showdown, which is a movie that you just gotta have because it's Billy Blanks kind of doing a Karate Kid type of thing. Sort of, Alan. You can buy some releases of their films, like DVD releases of their films, for cheaper without any features on it. But most of their stuff is Blu-ray, DVD combos, and then they went to DVDs afterwards. But for a smaller company, oh, did you? Oh, check it out. It's actually pretty good. I got to, the fact that, we're talking like a smaller company, and what they put out and their announcements of Mind Games for next year, and I think it's MVD that's putting up Mikey as well. Is that correct? Is MVD putting up Mikey, or is that another company? But I think it's MVD Rewind. It's MVD. Bram Stoker's Shadow Builder was MVD Rewind, actually, and that was last year. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. And let us see. I'm trying to see who's putting out. I so hate this. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, does anybody remember who's putting out Mikey on on Blu-ray? Hey, welcome back, Wheels. Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be MVD, but I'm not quite certain. I know they're putting out Mind Games. And The Point is coming in February as well. Severin? I don't think it's Severin putting out Mikey. But there is one company putting out Mikey next year. This is a Brian Bunzel film. But anyway, we're going to... So like for a second time, for really a second year, really when you're thinking of for MVD Rewind, I'm going to give them a solid A for this year. Hey, Dave. So MVD Rewind gets an A. Shockingly beating out Scream Factory with less releases. But MVD Rewind also put on a good sale this year as well. So if you were looking at some of the MVD stuff and you never picked up their stuff before, they put on a really cool sale. Hey, Brian, welcome, dude. Now we come to one that I think is going to be controversial. We're about to talk about Blue Underground. And if we were talking about last year's Blue Underground, late last year they put out, of course, Maniac, and they put out Zombie, with some really, really great releases. I'm not sure. This year they came out with 2 re-releases that of note that I can think about. If there's any more that I'm missing, please feel free to let me know. But 2 Evil Eyes, the New York Ripper, and New York Ripper for me is still a must-have eventually to get down the road from Blue Underground. And I love the re-releases that they're doing with the thicker cases and the lenticular covers and the soundtracks. I utterly love that they're doing these re-releases. And I think it's the right way for them to go to reestablish themselves in the, as a collector's company. That being said, there's still re-releases, and there's still very few coming out per year. But I'm going to give them a solid B for this year. I do think that by next year this time, that they, with stuff they got coming out, we could be seeing an A next year for Blue Underground. And that being said, the Maniac Blu-ray that I got and the other one are just incredible. They're on the Vinegar Syndrome sale, really? Savage John's prequel song. I don't think so. If it is, I don't know. I mean, Savage John's a cool biker movie, though. That's by the same time, it's going to be a good one. Definitely, guys. If you haven't picked up Savage John, if you haven't looked at it, definitely, I said it before here. Check out the trailer for Savage John from Vinegar Syndrome because I think you're going to want it. That cast, man. Hey, Dale. We are doing gradings. AGFA, America Genre Film Archives. This was a hard one for me. So I found 4 releases that really, really stood out. Yeah, exactly. And William Forsythe, one of the best bad guys in the business, Jesse. Films of Sarah Jacobson, Scary Movie, Blood Lake, and Satanus were 4 that stood out from AGFA. AGFA has just continued to kind of come under the radar, be one of those companies that a lot of people don't really talk about that much, but put out excellent releases. Their 2018 releases were incredible. Their 2019 releases, I think, are getting even better. I'm definitely going to give I'm going to give a solid A to AGFA actually, because the stuff that they put out, and has been pretty incredible, and they do work with other companies as well to get a lot of that stuff out there. Criterion. Yeah, that one's on the films of Sarah Jacobson set, Jesse. And that was one of the things that actually that garnered them an A for me. Criterion has definitely had a few good releases this year. Things like Clute stands out, Face in the Crowd, of course, and of course the Godzilla Showa set. There's been solid releases from Criterion. I haven't had any. The last newer one I got, was got to me from one of my viewers on here. They still do a little bit less with when it comes to the booklets than I think that they should do. Yeah, Criterion's got a 50% off sale right now. So anybody that's got the bones for it, definitely check it out. Where's it at? So can anybody name some of their favorite Criterion releases for this year? I'm sure you can, Cooper Glover. It's a cool one. What haven't you got yet? Like, you got to have the Vice Academies, like VSA, for sure, dude. Blue Velvet was this year. That's an amazing release. For what Criterion has done this year, you should definitely get Savage on. I'm going to put it to you this way, Jesse. Stars Lance Henriksen. Has the best bad guy in the business, William Forsythe. You also get Karen Black in this film as well, and George Kennedy, among others. So that alone, plus motorcycle action, and Lance Henriksen's name is Stryker. He's a loner. It's worth picking up. I'm going to give Criterion. I'm the only one that's positive on it. That's a shame. I mean, I have noticed that that unfortunately, not enough people have been talking about some of their action releases don't do as well as they should. Savage Harbor was a fun, quirky little film. But I'm going to give Criterion an A. I was going to give him a B+, but the Godzilla thing really knocks him over the thing to give them an A. James Cooper. All right, let us get to but the Good Bad Flicks kind of does that anyway. That's kind of his gimmick. And you have to remember, like, people like Brandon and Good Bad Flicks and Fanboy Flicks, a lot of them like these films. Oh, there's some great stuff from Arrow, like especially the Arrow Academy for the type of stuff you like. Now, this is a company that actually surprised me with their stuff this year, Scorpion Releasing. There's only a few that really stood out for me. Blind Date coming out early in the year. I don't have any Garage House except for one, so I really can't. I'm going to let you guys rate some of these companies, actually. That I don't have a lot on. Scorpion Releasing put out Blind Date by Nico Mastorakis' film, a favorite film of mine, with I do have a box set for Spaghetti Westerns. They put out Opera, they put out Shredder. I was actually very excited about that. I still have to get that film. Assignment Terror came out this year. They put out Mom, and of course Gas Pump Girls. I know a lot of people are like, Gas Pump Girls, but actually it's a fun little film. I'm going to give them a solid B+. I almost want to give them an A just for their Blind Date release alone. It was an amazing release, and the special feature on Nico Mastorakis is on Blind Date is a must-watch for anybody that likes any of Nico Mastorakis' films or any of that style of films. I do say Blind Date is one of those movies that is usually fairly inexpensive, and it should be in your collection. Now, was it this year that Scorpion Releasing put out Murder Rock, and or was that last year? Because if Murder Rock's a 2019 release, that may get them a Conquest. Yeah, Conquest is okay. I got the T-shirt Conquest. If Murder Rock came out this year, then that'll push them up to an A, like hands down. It's this year, then Scorpion releasing, you guys are getting an A. You put out Murder Rock and Blind Date and probably the Psyche this year as well. Kept with the Slip last year. Oh, okay. Huh. Oh, we'll leave them at a B plus, inching towards an A. If you haven't picked up Blind Date, definitely pick that one up. Mondo Macabro put out Just Before Dawn. I love Just Before Dawn. I don't own it. I haven't seen it, Jesse, since the days of the VHS. That's the last time I've seen Just Before Dawn. I would love to own Just Before Dawn. But the last time I saw it was back in the, was on VHS. And I think I was visiting my mom's at the time. And it was one of the ones that was at the store. They also re-released Terror Train. And they did a good job with that as well. Their cover for Terror Train actually was incredible. I love the slipcover they did for that. Maybe we'll give them the A, because Blind Date alone, honestly, Blind Date alone, seriously is worth an A. If you haven't checked out Blind Date by Nika Mastrakis, definitely check it out. Sorry, Joseph Bottoms, you get Kirstie Alley in it. You get Marina Sirtis as well. Mondo Macabro put out a few cool things this year. We got Emmanuel in America, a little bit controversial, but a fun little film if you like that type of stuff. Beast and the Magic Sword was a movie that for people that are into this type of film and are into this are into Paul Naschy. This is probably the must-have Paul Naschy film that's been put out yet. Like the most must-have, the most wanted Paul Naschy film for the year. Hopefully Walt feels better. Killer of Dolls, again, Jesse, it was another great release. Dangerous Cargo, it's the Deborah Shelton release. For those titles alone, and just the way that they put off like a really great sale earlier on this year, I'm going to give them an A minus, but still in the A territory, and they're still beating a lot of companies. I like to see a bit more release from them, and maybe maybe do 2 sales a year as opposed to the one, but it's still in the A category, so you can't go wrong with that. Indicator put out, of course, recently, Hammer Volume 4, Norman J. Warren's Bloody Terror box set. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Still, they're in the A territory, so I gave them a good score, I think. You guys can talk about the scores afterwards, by the way. Norman Dietrich and Joseph Sternberg box set, which again is amazing, apparently. The Legacy, they put out the Legacy. And they put out the really good edition of Scum, among others. So Indicator this year definitely gets a solid A. I'm almost tempted to give them an A plus just for that Hammer and the Marlene Dietrich box set, because what Indicator does with box sets, Scream Factory is good with box sets, Arrow's fantastic with box sets. I do have Keeping Up Appearances. It's one of my better half's favorite shows, actually, Alan. So yeah, I'm gonna give them an A. Indicator. I'm tempted on an A plus because the box sets are amazing. They finally got us in Semonite. Second Sight put out Asylum and House of Drip Blood this year, and as limited editions. They also made the announcements that they were putting out Dawn of the Dead and Martin. I think that they're going to be definitely in the A plus territory next year when those come out. If those releases are as good as they say they are. But I'm going to give them a B plus this year for the releases that they put out. Last year, with the releases that they put out then, I probably would have went for an A. Oh, really? But I will say for that time, we'll go with the B plus. It's pretty Canadian, Jesse. You got to watch it more than once. It's one of those that after you see 4 episodes, it kind of sticks on you. Arrow Video, you ready for this? So Arrow Video, some of the big releases that came out this year is Exorcist 3, the RoboCop limited edition, an amazing one. The American Werewolf from London limited edition. yeah, Arrow has like Deadly Manor and Edge of the Axe coming for 2020. Those are announced. Those supposedly Larraz films. Deadly Manor is a really strange film, by the way. I'll talk about that one afterwards. The Prey was saved by Arrow. Hills of Eyes 2, Weird Science, Chill Factor, Waterworld Limited Edition, The House Collection, The American Horror Project Volume 2. You do some DVDs. The Ringu Collection, actually that's the next one that's on this list there. The Blood Hunger Jose Larraz set. Horror Express, they put out the best edition of that, and an amazing edition of Crimson Peak. So Arrow along is the only other company along with Vinegar Syndrome that I'm going to give an A+ to this year. Not only for that, but they brought back their warehouse sale. And although I missed out on a lot of those limited edition things, Old By, again, another great release Warlock that I didn't mention on the list here, but I should have. The One Miss Call trilogy is coming out next year. Fear and Loathing, the Vengeance trilogy, the Mario Bava box, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, they put out a couple good sales this year, but the warehouse sale really knocked it out of the park for them. Arrow is the only other company this year that's going to be getting the coveted A+. But since they don't know I don't know how coveted the A+ is going to be to them. So there you go. I've listed and rated a lot of the Sertan. Was Sertan set this year? If it was. Damn, I mean, because that was a good release. So to go over it for anybody that came in late, Scared Stiff, yeah, especially the limited edition. Yes. I did good for Criterion. I gave them a good score. For Vinegar Syndrome, I gave them an A+, and I think out of any company out there, they really deserved it. They've done better putting their stuff together, putting their sales together, their monthly bundles, like upgrading a lot of their stuff. Eventually, Ragman, but I won't be able to get it quite yet. Severin, I gave a... What did I give Severin again? I gave him a B+, didn't I? Or did I give him an A? I forget right now. I have to go back and look. You guys remind me what I gave Severin. The releases this year were some amazing releases. Scream Factory, I had to give a B- to. They put out some of the best releases that they have put out any year to date, in my opinion. Unfortunately, their lack of sales kind of put them down. Mill Creek, good. I actually never thought about Mill Creek. What would I give Mill Creek? I think Mill Creek is one of their best years yet. People like bypass Mill Creek and a lot of the stuff that they put out. Mill Creek is definitely an A right now. If you're going to get like a company that's improved, yeah, definitely Mill Creek is one of those companies that has improved. I think that Vinegar Syndrome, they were already there, so they're just making steps to get further ahead. But Mill Creek definitely is the MVP when it comes to most improved. The reason I didn't mention Vestron, called them at, is I looked back over 2019, and unless I missed something, I don't think Vestron put out one release for 2019. I think their last release was back in 2018. Did I miss anything? Let me know if I did. Because maybe they put out one or two, but I can't remember any Vestron releases for 2019. Raven Banner is not a company that I take into, like, Raven Banner is more of a, I think of them Canadian releases. But they put out some good stuff. They did Tragedy Girls, MFA, which is the one I get there. But for Mill Creek, I would definitely put them on the list. I'm going to give them an A. Kino I haven't got to yet. Actually, no. The way they used to package their stuff is horrible. And still some of the ones I'm not so iffy on. But like their Ultraman series, they're killing it on Ultraman. Their Mothra set that they put out was again an amazing set. I had a great steelbook to it as well. So I'll give a solid A to Mill Creek, and I give them kudos, and hopefully they go even farther next year. I do like out of all the companies that did the VHS, like mock VHS covers, Mill Creek did it the best. As for Kino did some great stuff this year. We got some great sets coming out from Kino. They put out a lot of really cool releases. This was the year they put out their most October horror releases of all. We got some more 3D releases as well. I love the fact that they put out Nightmare Beach and actually had some really cool features for it. But I'm trying to say, did box set wise, did we get anything box set wise from Kino this year? The Outer Limits were last year, right? I'm pretty sure the Outer Limits were last year. You know, Kino does get credit for putting it Hannibal. I don't know. I think they're quality too, and they've come a long way from what they used to be. Kino's improved a lot over the last couple of years. Kino is a company that I would see as like, okay, there's the company with no features, and it's mostly gonna be older films and silent films and stuff like that. That's what I saw Kino for. But in the last like 2 or 3 years, like Kino has become one of my better halves, especially like favorite companies. So I would, I'm gonna give Kino like a solid B for 2019. There were a couple like missteps, like the things that they didn't have anything, couldn't fix up with. Like obviously, there's a couple things that a couple releases like the westerns that unfortunately got canceled, the 4K westerns. Uh, but they did put out some really decent stuff. Candy Snatchers. I don't know a lot about that one. I don't remember that one very well, but it looks fun. Are you looking on Vinegar Syndrome's website, Jess? Are you trying to find more to buy? Because if you are, and you don't have the Angel Trilogy set, that's heresy, because everybody needs that set. I'm not familiar with Flickr Alley stuff actually. I don't have any of the releases, to be honest with you. I do like the Man Who Laughs though. I got an old DVD of that one from Kino, but yeah, I've heard good things about Candy Snatchers, but I don't remember if I've seen it. I would have to like look at the trailer, and I haven't actually even looked at the trailer. Hey, happy December 1st, B movie. They're white whale. Is it really? Apparently, they said if you want a hint to like some stuff, something that's coming next year, sell it like vile Candy Snatchers. Hey George, welcome, dude. Hopefully you're doing okay there today. And I have Silent Partner, one of the best releases for me, one of the best films to come out. I love Silent Partner. It's a movie from my youth. And if you've never seen Silent Partner, it's an incredible thriller. Make sure you check out Silent Partner. It is a great, great release and a fantastic film. Like hands down, that's a gorgeous film. A wonderfully well acted by Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer. I apparently I have one mod and I'm not sure how I did it. Uh, so that's probably uh, I may have hit something out here. Um, Technology is not my friend. I do not understand the technology stuff. Oh, we gotta lower that sound. Hey Danuch, welcome, dude. It's been a while. Did you see the Black Friday one yet? But so there you go. That is my score so far for the companies that I've got listed there. Now I'm going to be looking at some other companies as well that we're going to talk about. Uh, you guys can let me know if you think I was fair with the scores. If I did, if uh, if they were solid. Angel Box at Vice Academy, yes. Spookies, Scream Slipcover #1, and Incubus, solid releases. Hey, Culture Trini, welcome. Howard's and House Boxes, nice. Hey, welcome, Indy. I scored the companies this year, and it was Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome were the only two companies to get like a solid A+ score. We got some Bs and some A- and stuff, but Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome were the two companies to score the A+ for me this year for 2019, just for the stuff that they put out there. I think I gave an A to Criterion, and some Bs and some B- and stuff. You haven't looked Logan? It's actually a really cool film. I don't want to give anything away because it's got a really neat premise as well. Scary. Good releases. I, one of these days, Kevin, I want to be able to talk more about Warner Archives. As of right now, I have to. It's. I got to go roundabout to get like either I got to be in Ontario, or I have to. You know what scores worse than my list too, don't you, Warlock? Because it's really hard to get Warner Archives, and I hate the fact that they don't sell here. Umbrella Entertainment's in part 2 of this video. So yes, we'll be talking about Umbrella Entertainment as well. I don't have many of their releases, but I will definitely tell you that some things have impressed you. So who's going to be in part 2 of this video here? Well, we're going to look at Umbrella. We're going to look at 101 Films. We're going to look at a few other ones. What's my favorite film score? Oh God. That's hard. I don't know. Like just the actual score of a film. I watched a lot of Giallo. So I'd probably go with Tenebrae because I actually do listen to Tenebrae outside here. And for a long time, when I worked at a bank, I used to listen to Tenebrae when I was like working at the bank. I used to listen to the film score. I had the film score to Tenebrae and I had the audiobook for Tom Baker's, autobiography. It's fun time. Again, another great score. But that's a really good question, actually. Can you tell you what? Oh, the company that I like least. Oh, what am I saying? Dark Force Entertainment. That's probably like right now is my least favorite. Vinegar Syndrome, Severin Films, Scream Factory, and Arrow Films. You gotta check out MVD Rewind. They do have put out some good stuff. Also, I'd say grab some like AGFA does some great stuff too. But I do have other companies that I will be talking about, including Code Red as well. Speaking of the well, not just with their Van Damme stuff. MVD put out some really good. Tell you what, let's go over. I always like to do this now at least once during the video. So, can we do it on this one? I'm gonna have to move it. I'm gonna have to move it. Have a bunch of like cheesies down here from when I was from Halloween. All right, so let's move this here. Let's not choke myself. I'm not into that. This is my MVD Rewind collection right here. So there are must-haves within MVD Rewind, which I'm gonna just get to. I hate the fact that it did this. Okay, here we go. Demon's got a great score. Demon has a great soundtrack anyway. But there are things that I think everybody needs from the MVD Rewind collection. Standouts for me, if you want to talk horror, is Abominable, which is a really cool Bigfoot film that I do think everybody should own. If there's one film, and I'm going to say it again, I've said it many, many times, that if you don't own it, if you don't own this Logan, it's actually a really cool film, and it's this one right here. Went to Coney Island on mission from God. Be back at 5. Big misses of the year. That's actually a good idea. this release is one of my favorites that MVD put out. It's not like an action movie. It's not a horror movie. There's no kung fu or any of that in it. It's just a really good, solid character film. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to cleanse the palate with just a really good film. And this one here, it's a really good film. It's worth seeing. It stars John Cryer, who actually helped write the film as well. There's a actually really good commentary between John Cryer and the director of the film. You definitely got to watch Abominable. And there's some amazing features on here as well. There's some good interviews on here. This film is very personal to John Cryer. Things that happened in this film actually did happen to Cryer and people that he knew. Went to Coney Island on a mission from God. Be back at 5 was actually something that he wrote on a note one time. So very, very cool film to check out. As cheesy as this is, I'm still hoping one of these days we get a slipcover for this one. It's Double Impact. It's a cheesy, crazy film. Definitely not for everybody. How do you recognize your saints? No, I don't think I have actually. But it has a great making of on here, and it has the animated pilot as well. And you guys know I'm an animation fan, so the fact that there's a Double Dragon cartoon on here, I'm all about that. It gets the cheesy gamer part of me as well. They also put out the Nemesis series, but what was really cool is they put out this one here called Showdown, which is an odd film, but I really like it. And only MVD would put this out. And they do a great job with it. Here's the thing. They got the movie, went on Mission from God, Mission to God, Coney Island, be back at 5. And they could have stopped right there with that film, right? But they didn't. See, the director of that film, that I really like, actually is the director of most of the making ofs that are on the MVD later releases. So when you're looking at MVD making of feature, and they're usually like, we're talking about like 80, 90-minute features for some of their making ofs, that's being made by the guy, which is the one that I just showed you. So, here you go. So yeah, if you haven't checked out much MVD Rewind stuff, I do recommend them. They do put out like the stuff like the Double Impact, which is actually kind of cool too. Return to Swamp Thing. The one that I like least that they've put out so far is probably Bright Lights, Big City. I remember that being a much more exciting film than it's an okay film, but I remember it being a much better film when I was younger. But it doesn't quite hit the levels of like a Less Than Zero or anything like that, or even like a Light of Day, which is actually is a better Fox film. Did they put out the complete animated series? I got to check that out because I definitely want that, and I did not know that. I know that the first episode was on the Double Dragon movie, but I didn't know they put out the whole thing. And yeah, I kind of want that now. So thanks. So MVD has been, and if you notice here, I've brought all my movies down here now, so you can actually see a lot of different, like a lot of stuff here. This is my Omen box set right here. I've expanded my Scream Factory stuff since I got so much from Scream Factory this year due to the whole, the big out of print stuff. Puberty Love, yeah, actually. By the way, speaking of like, I haven't seen it. I don't think. That's a blind spot for me. I'll definitely get it eventually down the road. It wasn't part of their sale, like price wise, so I'm gonna wait for the next Severin sale and I'll probably pick it up then. But DOA, A Rite of Passage, really good documentary, really good punk documentary. If you like punk music, it's excellent. If you don't like punk music, it's still a really good documentary. But what's even better is there is a documentary about the documentary. How strong the horror elements are? In which film? Because I might have missed something there, Fry. Then you have to go to Morocco to find it. Oh, I don't know actually. If Kathy was here, she's got the film and she's seen it. It's too bad she's not here right now because she'd be able to tell you. Severin Syndrome, Arrow. Oh, that's hard. I think she was. When we talked about it for a couple minutes, but I was working at the time, so but she did say she watched it. I think she liked it. So I thought she enjoyed the film. I don't want to put words in Kathy's mouth, but if I remember correctly, I think she enjoyed the film. If I had to go, it's hard. It would be a toss-up between Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow. But still, Severin, just the releases that Severin's put out. Like when I did my video last night, I had a lot of my Severin releases upstairs. So when people were like asking for recommendations, like I didn't even think about movies like Shocking Dark, which is an incredible Severin release that I do recommend people check out. Or the Zombie 3 and 4, which had like soundtracks with them. Severin has done really good when it's come to putting soundtracks into the releases. I gotta say, I've been very, very impressed with what they've done with that. Severin also does like a ton of really good like documentaries that other companies just aren't touching. Their Video Nasties documentaries, you know, that sexploitation, the Lost Souls documentary. Every one of those are not just the ones that like are suggestions that they should be in everybody's library. They are must-haves for every film lover's library. It's like that, you know, that's Ozploitation, you know, basically the not quite Hollywood film. It's one that everybody does have to have. Same with those Severin documentaries. They're not a maybe, they're a must. Yeah, don't go by reviews. Like you gotta understand after a while, and that a lot of reviewers when they're reviewing stuff, they're reviewing it like they got a checklist. And put it to you this way: you ever work at a call center? Ever like anybody ever work at a call center or anything like that? I have. So let me put with often with call centers, there's like a monitor list, and you have to hit there's certain things you hit to you know, to do a call really well. And if you miss certain things, then even if the call comes off amazing to you and the person is really happy at the end of the call, you still may not have gotten a good score. And I think about that when it comes to film reviewers as well. They have to watch a lot of movies all year round. Yeah, exactly. The review that should matter is a review of you and you know, the people around you. Excellent. Did you get both of them? Did you get the first one, and did you get the Draconian Days too? Because Draconian Days is great. It's maybe even a little better than the first one, but those two are incredible. And if you haven't, get them. They're excellent releases. They will be prides of your collection. You will watch. If you like documentaries and you like video nasties, trust me on this. You're going to watch those not just once, not just twice. You're going to watch them over and over again, and the trailers as well. Trailers are kind of cool because the first time you watch them with the introductions on there. Listen to the introduction. It's almost like a complete like other documentary. You've just finished watching a documentary, and then you put on the trailers, and each trailer has like a really informative introduction to it. Contamination is great because it's got some great features on it as well, and it's almost like a second documentary. And then you watch it, you know, put trailer tape on the background. Sometimes it's really cool that way. So you made the right decision. I'm very talkative tonight. I do. Hey, Walden, welcome. You giving them a C? I can't give Severin a C. There's just too much good stuff out. Have I seen the movie The Fiend? It's a Don Dohler film. I recommend it. This was put out by Massacre Video. This is a great release, by the way. I wish I did, man. Unfortunately, J Bean, because I live in Canada and in Atlanta, Canada, the only titles I get that are not paid for by me are titles that are sent to me by members of the cult that send me some really cool stuff. It's fun. I mean, if you've never seen this film, and you're into B movie, man, this is cool. This is a cool release. It's really odd. If you've never seen a Don Dohler film, you might find it a little strange, but some of the acting, some of the choices in the film, some of the special effects, but We had a blast with it. I really, really enjoyed this film. Is this someone that had like an extra film on it, like hidden here somewhere? I think this one here. I would have to go back and look again. Now, can anybody remember? I think this movie has an extra film hidden on it. The way that I see it is that, well, part of my informedness comes from a lot of you guys who always correct me when I'm wrong, and trust me, I will be wrong. Blood Massacre, I knew it. I haven't got to watch the second film yet, but I am going to check it out. Really, really like that. I'm doing too many arms right now, actually. Let me know what you think of it. I'm actually very curious what your thoughts are going to be on that film. If you like it and you don't have this film yet, you're probably going to want to buy Night Beast, because it's a very cool, more of a mainstream, like Don Dolo, as far as mainstream as Don Dolo can get. So he made this one as well. So if you like Fiend, this is another Don Dolo film. I actually have a retro media Don Dolo film as well. I can't remember what the name of it is right now, though. Is Blood Massacre fun? I haven't checked it out yet. German and Nolis, aren't those releases really expensive? Dolly Dearest is one that I'm so excited for. I know it's silly, but it's, again, like I said yesterday, Dolly Dearest is it's a rental staple from the rental store days. That's the killer part for stuff like that. Alien Factor, thank you. that is the one. Dale, you're remembering the stuff that I am not today. I've been trying to see. Want something here. So True to Your Terror 2 was put up by Kino this year too, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a good release. I'm wearing my Bloody Mary shirt. They do. Unfortunately, the one thing, the year, it's expensive. I don't have a Microwave Massacre. I wish I had Microwave Massacre, but like many, these pockets are not that deep this year. I did see the new Child's Play. I definitely like parts of it. There are other parts where I was iffy on. I want to see the TV series. That's what I'm excited about. I like Don Mancini's take on Child's Play the best. What really bothered me with Child's Play was the reasoning for him becoming it. What I really liked about Child's Play, I really liked the take that they did on having the buddy doll. I'm very surprised too, actually. Mark Hamill kills it. People say, well, Mark Hamill's just doing his Joker, or he's just doing this character. No, Mark Hamill really, really brings life to the character. Some people are going to say that he doesn't just because he don't like the fact that he did it. But I find it hard getting it past the fact of the reason that Child's Play came about. Who is it that said that too? There's somebody that said that. I think it was Dead Meat. Because if you don't watch Dead Meat or listen to the Dead Meat podcast, you should, because it's actually really, really good. I actually really liked the 2018 Halloween. I was a big fan of that film. I watched it like in the theater, and then I watched it again afterwards. Have Happy Birthday to Me. But the idea that the Child's Play film came about literally because they ignored Don Mancini completely and decided they're just going to do it just because he had the rights to it. It's hard to get past that. Now, the people that made the Child's Play film, however, the ones that actually worked on the film, you can tell that they had high reverence for the series and the film, and they went in with the best of intentions. The company, however, that produced it, not so much. First I released Society. Oh, Society is amazing. Do I have Bloody Birthday? I think I do have that one here. Oh, yes, I do. I actually have 88 Films edition of Bloody Birthday. Right here. Great little film. Great cast, too, actually. Justin Kurzweil is like a commentary on this. And I do like Justin Kurzweil's commentaries. Because he does the, you know, the Teenage Slasher book, which I have upstairs. My dad got me for Christmas last year. Oh, definitely add Dead Meat to your podcast list. Andy, you're going to like it. It's really good. Like, people you should have on your podcast list, Andy, right now. Just Sadist, Pure Cinema, Dead Meat, Shockwaves, Projection Booth's pretty cool. There's a few of them. There's one like the films that weren't made, that type of thing. Just really good stuff. From the director. I don't have The Brain, but I do have Bloody Birthday. And this one I think has the... I keep going back and forth between which cover to use. There's this cover, and I think I like this other cover better. Because the girl's cute. I think D'Anton Julie Brown's in this movie, actually. And Michael Biehn. I think Michael Biehn plays the sheriff in this film. Is it Michael Biehn or Michael Dudikoff? How am I getting them wrong? Michael Dudikoff, yeah. Joe Penny, Susan Strasberg, Jose Ferrer, Julie Brown. It's a fun little film, and I've watched this a few times. And there you go, guys. At 71 minutes, because I have some chores to do upstairs tonight, and if I don't do them, there won't be another video because my better half will bury me in the backyard. Yep. Be sure, as I said at the beginning of the video, my better half tells me to remember this, and I never remember it. So, you know, like, share, subscribe, and in my last video, for instance, I put my Patreon link down below and my wishlist link. So if you want to help out with that, that would be very much appreciated as well. I am Aaron. You are the cult of cinema, and you guys rock. Have a great evening there. We will get part 2 of this video done sometime later on this week, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Talk to you later. Now go out there and take one last look at that Severin and that Vinegar Syndrome sale. Maybe there's something that passed you by the first time around that you need to get.